855-450-FREE. We're going to go to Benjamin, listening in California. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Benjamin.
Good evening, gentlemen. Tonight I wanted to discuss an analogy I've been using because the current analogies used are poor, and it's in reference to the United States drone program against terrorism. A lot of times people will say, well, imagine, if China were dropping bombs on your community, or you say another country or something like that. But the analogy I've been using lately that I've been getting a positive response to is, imagine if the Mexican government decided to take a page from the United States government playbook, and in their war against the nebulous enemy, the drug cartels, decided to launch its own drone program to eliminate the cartel members in America that the United States government was either unwilling or unable to deal with themselves. And they did things like wait for those cartel members to go to a wedding and then do a double tap, drop a bomb,
the wedding.
and then wait for people to rush in to help and take out the next target. Imagine if the Mexican drone program included watching people and deciding based on their signature that they probably work for the cartel, and then taking them out then, or taking them out in their home. I mean, these cartel members, they don't wear uniforms. They hide behind children. They probably live in homes with women and children. And so sometimes there would be cases where a cartel member was taken out and women and children were killed. It would be an unfortunate accident, or they bombed the wrong house. But, I mean, using the American justification for their drone program, in what way would Mexico not be justified?
Well, that's really what it comes down to in these circumstances, is you have to believe in American exceptionalism. And this is a really great term for all the rest of the people who live in all the other countries, especially the ones that aren't sort of wealthy Western countries, are subhuman. That's what it means, and that's what it that's what it comes down to. That's why they say, there was an airplane crash in Kuala Lumpur today. 400 people were killed. 2 were Americans, and that's why we're like, "Oh crap! 2 Americans died," and because
that's not how I feel.
Many of us, we have all been raised this way, and
human beings are human beings, but I get the point that you're making is that a lot of people believe that Americans are somehow more special than everybody else.
I don't think I've been able to completely shed this. I mean, because I hear when those circumstances do come up, I know how my mind sort of viscerally reacts. And until I don't think that way, I'm going to say that I do think that way.
It's really about treating people the way you want to be treated. It's the golden rule. And a lot of people in America especially, they learn this maybe in church, the golden rule, but they don't seem to apply it to people in other countries. Or just even in life. I think it's lost on a lot of people. My mother always told me to treat people the way I wanted to be treated, but she would give me specific instances, and I think that is a really big key into believing in peace and liberty, is if you can just, focus on that, because then these people in other countries, they're people, people, of different colors, they're people like you. So that's what it comes down to. And I think you're right, Mark, that people have this American exceptionalism, I think you called it, and they just don't see people of other countries, of other colors, of other races as equal. They see them as lesser.
So, Benjamin, you've had success, you say, with this analogy of kind of relating drone strikes and kind of preemptive war or whatever, attacking civilians, to a drug war analogy using this futuristic Mexico that's swooping in on the United States territory. And what is it? What have the responses been, essentially?
Well, and I've used this example with people I know to be left-leaning, to be right-leaning, and it's been I've kind of seen oh, yeah, that makes sense, from people who are generally like fence sitters on the drone program, because they tend to be like, well, we got to kill the terrorists, that that kind of thinking.
Yeah, but when you put the drone program also sort of takes it protects Americans because you don't put anything on the line with the drone program. So far, no U.S. military personnel have been killed in the drone program. I mean, I suppose one of them could have one of these things crash land on them or perhaps get hit by a propeller or something. But all in all, it's quite safe compared to putting brutes on the ground or even flying manned aircraft over territory.
Absolutely. But I like the Mexico example that I've been using because it is something you can't imagine. I mean, it's hard to imagine China coming and occupying the streets or having a drone program over here for whatever the reason is. But what Mexico is dealing with is a very, real enemy, groups that exist. They're nebulous. They don't wear uniforms. They cross borders. We know they operate within the United States borders. And the United States government doesn't go around just killing them or collecting them and giving them to Mexico.
It definitely seems more plausible, and I'll try to remember to use that one in the future. I think it's very good. Anything else you want to share, Benjamin?
Nope, I just wanted to relate that to people who might be fence-sitting on the issue of the drone campaign, the United States drone campaign. Consider what you would think about if Mexico was running a similar operation to deal with their problems with the cartels.
Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate the ideas. 8:55.